You've probably been told your whole life that to be a leader you must be loud, assertive, always ready to speak first and dominate every room you enter. But what if that idea is completely wrong and actually keeping you small? What if your quiet nature is not a defect to be fixed, but a hidden weapon you never learned how to use? In a world that rewards noise, shallow confidence, and constant self-promotion, silent and reflective people are often underestimated, ignored, or even treated as weak. Yet, Stoic philosophy, the same wisdom that shaped emperors, generals, and great thinkers, quietly repeats the opposite message. True strength rarely needs to shout. In this script, you'll discover how to transform your quiet personality into unshakable leadership using 10 powerful Stoic principles, explained in a simple, practical, and deeply human way. By the end, you will no longer try to imitate extroverts. You will lead as you truly are, calm, grounded, and impossible to move. So if you've ever felt overlooked in meetings, trapped behind more talkative people, or secretly doubtful that you could ever be leader material, stay until the end. Today, your silence stops being a prison and becomes your strongest armor. Let's begin. Part 1. The silent power of Stoicism. Before diving into the 10 Stoic ways to transform your quiet personality into leadership, you need to understand one thing. Stoicism was never about being loud. It was about being unshakable. While most people react impulsively, chase approval, and explode under pressure, Stoics trained themselves to remain calm, lucid, and focused on what truly matters. They led not because they talked more, but because they collapsed less. And that is exactly why Stoicism is the perfect framework for quiet people. You don't need to become someone else. You don't need to force yourself to be the center of attention. You will learn instead to speak less, but with surgical precision. Feel deeply, but remain emotionally sovereign. Act quietly, but with such consistency that people naturally follow. Throughout this journey, remember, your supposed weakness, your quiet nature, is just untamed strength. The Stoic tools you're about to learn will give it direction, structure, and impact. Now take a deep breath, put your distractions aside, and focus fully on this experience. These next minutes can reframe how you see yourself, your voice, and your place in the world. Part 2. 10 Stoic ways to turn quiet into leadership. 1. Accept your nature. You don't have to be loud to be powerful. Ask yourself honestly, how much of your suffering comes from trying to be someone you are not? Maybe you've pushed yourself to network harder, speak more, dominate the room, and every time you do it, you feel fake, exhausted, and distant from your own core. The first Stoic move is radical. Acceptance of your nature. Stoicism teaches that peace comes when we stop fighting what is outside our control and begin working with what truly is ours, our character, choices, actions, and judgments. Your temperament is not a prison. It is material. Like clay, it can be shaped, but it should never be denied. You are quiet? Good. You think before speaking? Good. You notice subtle details that others miss? Good. Leaders are not only the loud voices that dominate discussions. There are also those who listen deeply and see patterns others ignore. Take time before responding, and when they do, everyone listens. Stay composed while everyone else loses control. Your first mission is to stop apologizing for being quiet. Stop believing that leadership has only one mask. From this point on, quiet will no longer mean weak. It will mean deliberate. Practical reflection. Tonight, take a notebook and write down at least 5 ways your quiet nature has helped you in life. Times when you noticed what others didn't, avoided a conflict, made a wise choice, or offered the right words at the right moment. You are gathering evidence that who you are is not a defect, but a powerful base for leadership. Master your inner voice before raising your outer voice. You might think your main problem is that other people don't listen to you, but the harsh truth is that, for many quiet people, the first person who doesn't listen is themselves. Your mind might be full of silent thoughts, like "they will ignore me," "I don't know enough," "if I speak I'll sound stupid," "I'm not a real leader." Stoicism insists that what truly disturbs us is not reality itself, but the stories we tell about it. Those stories are internal whispers that act like chains, tying your voice down before you even open your mouth. So before we talk about speaking up, we must talk about cleaning up. Start noticing your internal dialogue right before you have the chance to speak or take the lead. When someone asks, "Any thoughts?" what appears in your mind? When a new opportunity emerges, what sentence rises first? "I could do it," or "I'm not ready." This awareness is not about blaming yourself. It is about regaining authorship. Each time you catch a limiting thought, ask, "Is this a fact or just a fear? What evidence actually supports this belief? If a friend told me this about themselves, would I agree?" What you are doing here is classic Stoic training, separating what is real from what is projection. Practical exercise. For 1 week, when you feel blocked in a conversation or opportunity, write down the exact sentence that appeared in your mind. Then, next to it, rewrite a Stoic alternative, something grounded, calm, and empowering. For example, from "I don't know enough" to "I know enough to contribute one useful point." From "they will ignore me" to "some may ignore, others may not." That's not in my control. My job is to express what I believe matters. Quiet leadership begins unseen, in the way you talk to yourself. Listen like a strategist, not like a spectator. One of your greatest strengths as a quiet person is your capacity to listen. But listening is not enough. You must learn to listen strategically. Most people listen only to respond. They wait impatiently for their turn to talk, collecting arguments in their head. You, however, can turn your silence into a tactical advantage. Stoic-inspired listening looks like this. You are not in a hurry to show your opinion. You are fully present, noticing not only what people say, but how they say it. Tone, body language, contradictions. You connect ideas, detect blind spots, and pay attention to what nobody is addressing. While the room drowns in noise, you are 4 steps ahead, assembling the real picture. And that is leadership. When you finally speak, you are not just adding more noise, you are bringing clarity. You can say things like, "I've listened to everyone, and here's what I see. We're missing 3 of us are worried about risk, but no one has translated that into a concrete plan. Let me try. We're circling the same point. Can I summarize what we've said so far so we can decide?" You are no longer the quiet person in the corner. You become the anchor that organizes the chaos. Practical exercise. In your next group meeting, set a Stoic intention. Your only goal will be to listen like a strategist. You will not force yourself to speak immediately. Instead, you will 1. Observe who dominates the conversation. 2. Notice what is being repeated and what is being ignored. 3. At the end, offer one concise summary or missing perspective. You don't need many interventions, you need meaningful ones. 4. Speak fewer words with more weight. A common mistake quiet people make is this. When they finally decide to speak, they become nervous and start justifying themselves too much, rambling or apologizing before they've even shared their idea. This dilutes the strength of their voice. Stoicism values brevity, clarity, and essential speech. The idea is simple. Say only what is necessary in the most direct and honest way possible. Your goal is not to sound smart. It is to be useful. Think of your words as arrows. Every extra explanation is like mud on the arrowhead. Before speaking, ask yourself, what exactly am I trying to add here? Can I express this in 1 or 2 clear sentences? Do I truly need this disclaimer? Or am I just trying to protect myself from judgment? Instead of saying, "Sorry, This might sound stupid, but I was thinking that maybe, I don't know, we could possibly try. You say, here's one idea we haven't tried yet. See the difference? Both come from you, but only one sounds like a leader. Practical technique. Before your next meeting or conversation where you want to contribute, write down 2 or 3 potential sentences in advance. Concise, direct, and in your own natural style. For example, I see 2 main risks here, A and B. We're addressing A but not B. From what I observed this week, our real bottleneck is X, not Y. Can we pause for a moment? I think we're ignoring an important detail. You are training your mind to embody verbal minimalism, fewer words, more impact. 5. Set quiet boundaries and gain respect without shouting. Many quiet people fall into a dangerous pattern. They are kind, available, helpful, and then slowly become the person everyone overloads and no one respects. Why? Because they confuse being kind with being boundaryless. Stoicism emphasizes self-respect, responsibility, and clear limits. A leader, even a silent one, is not someone who says yes to everything. A leader chooses where their time, energy, and attention go. You don't need to be aggressive to set boundaries. You can do it with calm clarity. For example, instead of, okay, I'll do it, when you're already overloaded, you say, I'm at full capacity right now. I can help with this if we remove something else from my plate. Instead of accepting last-minute demands in silence, you say, for me to do a good job, I need at least X hours of advance notice. Next time, let's plan earlier. Instead of tolerating someone constantly interrupting you, you say, I'd like to finish my thought, then I'd love to hear your view. Notice, no drama, no raised voice, no blame, just calm firmness. Boundaries are not walls against others. They are fences protecting what makes you effective. Practical exercise. Identify one area in your life where people cross your limits regularly, maybe your time, your privacy, your work, or your emotional availability. Choose one specific sentence you will use next time this happens. Practice it aloud when you're alone so that when the moment comes, your voice doesn't tremble. The goal is not to win an argument, it is to teach the world how to treat you. 6. Use Stoic calm as your leadership brand. Think about the last time everything around you went wrong. Deadlines collapsing, people shouting, sudden bad news, unexpected conflict. How did you react? Most people, especially louder personalities, amplify the chaos. Their voices rise, their emotions leak into every word, and they infect the environment with panic. As a quiet person, you have an incredible advantage. It is easier for you to choose silence before reaction, and that is pure Stoicism. The Stoic leader practices a simple discipline. In the space between event and reaction, they insert a pause. You receive a harsh email. You don't respond immediately. A client raises their voice. You listen without mirroring their tone. A team member makes a mistake. You take a breath before speaking. From the outside, this looks like calm. From the inside, it is active work. You are choosing not to be dragged by external turbulence. Over time, people will start to trust you, not just for your ideas, but for your presence. You become the calm one, the person they seek. When things get tough, that is leadership. Practical ritual. Create a personal Stoic pause rule. Whenever you feel your emotions rise in a conversation, you will. 1. Take one deep, slow breath through your nose. 2. Notice your shoulders and deliberately relax them. 3. Only then decide what to say or do. It seems small, but this 3-second habit can completely change your reputation. You stop being the quiet one no one notices and become the steady one everyone relies on. 7. Choose your battles and speak when it really counts. One of the most powerful advantages of quiet people is that they do not feel the compulsion to comment on everything. Use that. Not every argument deserves your energy. Not every rumor requires your answer. Not every mistake needs your immediate correction. Stoicism teaches a clear hierarchy of importance. Focus on what really impacts your values, your responsibilities, and the people you care about. Ignore the rest. As a leader, this means you don't join every pointless debate just to prove you're smart. You don't sink time into explaining yourself to people who aren't listening in good faith. You save your voice for moments when speaking will actually shift something important. Paradoxically, this makes your interventions even more powerful because you are not constantly trying to be heard. When you do speak, people know there's a reason. Your silence gives weight to your words. Practical question. Before entering a disagreement or discussion, ask yourself, if I win this argument, what actually changes? If the answer is almost nothing, let it go. If the answer impacts your integrity, your work quality, or someone's well-being, then it is worth speaking calmly and clearly. Your leadership will not be measured by the number of times you had the last word, but by the quality of the things that changed because you spoke. 8. Build quiet consistency. Let your actions speak louder than your voice. Many people try to lead by personality. You will lead by consistency, while others alternate between enthusiasm and burnout, promises and excuses, big talk and small delivery. You will quietly build something Stoicism respects deeply: character. Quiet leaders shine in one specific dimension. They do what they say, again and again, even when nobody's watching, even when nobody applauds. You arrive on time. You deliver your tasks with care. You admit mistakes without drama and correct them. You own your responsibilities. Instead of blaming others, over weeks and months, people start to notice, even if they never say it directly. They begin to think, if I give this to them, it will be done. If they disagree, I should listen. They're usually right. If they're worried, we should take it seriously. This is trust, and trust is the invisible currency of leadership. Practical plan. Choose 3 small behaviors that you will execute with almost brutal consistency for the next 30 days. For example, answer work messages within a defined, reasonable time window. Deliver your tasks before the deadline, not at the deadline. Take notes in every meeting and send a brief summary afterwards. These actions don't require you to speak louder. They turn your reliability into something people can feel. 9. Cultivate a core principle. Know what you stand for. One of the deepest fears quiet people carry is this: if I'm put on the spot, I will freeze. I won't know what to say. Often, the problem isn't a lack of words, it's a lack of inner compass. Stoicism invites you to define your principles clearly. What is more important to you than comfort? What will you refuse to do, even if pressured? What do you want people to feel after interacting with you? When you know what you stand for, many decisions become automatic. You don't need to improvise morals on the spot. You already chose. For example, you might decide, I will always tell the truth, but with respect. I will not join in malicious gossip about people who are not present. I will not sacrifice my health for artificial urgency. I will protect my team from unfair blame, even if it's uncomfortable. With such principles in place, your quiet nature no longer feels like passivity. It becomes controlled direction. You may not say much, but when someone crosses a line that violates your principles, you will feel a clear internal no, and this gives you strength to speak. Practical reflection. Take 15 minutes to write down 5 personal leadership principles. Don't try to sound noble. Be honest. Ask yourself, if I lived like this every day, would I respect myself more? Then place this list where you see it often, on your desk, your phone, or your notebook. You are programming your future reactions right now. 10. Lead by example in small circles first. Many quiet people imagine leadership as something huge: big speeches, large audiences, titles, visibility. That image alone is enough to terrify them into inaction. But Stoic leadership starts small, intimate and local. You don't need a title to lead. You need one person who grows because of your presence, then 2, then 5, then 10. Lead in your friendships by being the one who really listens and tells the truth kindly when it's needed. Lead in your family by being the one who doesn't explode when everyone else does. Lead at work by being the one who pulls conversations back to what really matters. Don't underestimate these spheres. Every great leader, noisy or quiet, began by influencing a small circle deeply. You are training skills, courage to speak at the right time, wisdom to stay silent at the right time, and calm consistency under pressure. Over time, opportunities will grow. Projects, promotions, invitations to share your view in bigger spaces. When they come, you won't be that quiet person forced into leadership. You will be someone who has quietly practiced leadership for years. Practical challenge. In the next 7 days, choose one small context in which you will deliberately act as a Stoic leader. In a group chat, instead of letting gossip grow, you redirect the topic. In a stressful situation, you are the one who says, "Let's take a breath and look at facts." In a planning meeting, you propose a simple structure when everything feels messy. You are not waiting for an official badge. You are already leading. Part 3. Turning Stoic theory into daily practice. You've just walked through 10 Stoic ways to transform your quiet nature into unshakable leadership. But none of this matters if it stays only in your head. Knowledge without practice is just another form of noise, even for quiet people. So let's translate this into a simple daily and weekly routine you can actually follow without overwhelming yourself. Daily Stoic routine for quiet leaders. 1. Morning intention, 3 minutes. Before touching your phone, ask, in which moment today will I choose to act like a leader rather than hide? Visualize yourself in one likely scenario, a meeting, a conversation, a decision. See yourself calm, clear, and firm. 2. Midday. Pause. 2 minutes. At some point, stop. Close your eyes and replay your morning. Where did you stay silent when you could have contributed? Where did you remain calm instead of reacting? No judgment, only observation. 3. Evening reflection, 5 to 10 minutes. Ask yourself 3 Stoic questions. 1. Where did I act according to my principles today? 2. Where did I let fear or habit silence me? 3. What one small thing will I do differently tomorrow? You are not trying to become perfect. You are training awareness and direction. Weekly practice. Once a week, review your written principles and adjust if needed. Choose one Stoic skill to focus on that week. Maybe concise speaking, setting one boundary, or pausing before reacting. Celebrate one concrete leadership moment, no matter how small. A sentence you spoke, a boundary you held, a calm reaction you chose. This celebration is not vanity. It is fuel. Quiet people often forget their own victories because they rarely talk about them. You will not brag, but you will not ignore your growth either. Part 4. A final word for the quiet soul. There is something you need to hear clearly. You are not broken because you are quiet. You are not destined to watch life from the sidelines. You are not less of a leader because your power doesn't explode. It radiates. For too long, you may have believed that your role was to support, follow, observe from the shadows. But Stoic wisdom whispers a different story. The world doesn't only need loud commanders, it desperately needs calm anchors. People who don't crumble when others panic. People who listen before they decide. People whose word, though rare, is solid. You can be one of those people. Not someday, in some imaginary future. Starting today, in the way you talk to yourself, the way you show up in one conversation, the way you carry your calm when everything else shakes. Your quiet is not an absence of voice. It is a deep well. And every Stoic practice you apply is like carving a channel from that well to the surface, so others can finally drink from what you carry inside. So, if these ideas resonated with you in any way, choose one simple action for the next 24 hours. Maybe it's rewriting your inner dialogue. Maybe it's speaking one clear sentence in a meeting. Maybe it's saying no once calmly and firmly. Maybe it's just taking a Stoic breath before reacting. Whatever you choose, commit to it. Because from the moment you decide to act differently, even in a small way, you are no longer just the quiet one. You are a quiet Stoic in training. And that, over time, makes you a leader nobody can shake.